1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to Cork in the North. This is episode 12, but this week is a very special episode because we're actually doing a crossover with a Mudblood podcast. So I've got Paddy McDonald here with me.
Yeah.
Got Mudblood. So what we're doing is this is an episode for Cork in the North, but it's also going to be an episode for Mudblood.
Yes.
So we're doing a crossover. So that's basically it. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward, Paddy.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Do you have an intro for Mudblood?
Welcome to the Mudblood podcast. As you can see, no Willie this week, so we have Andrew Ryan on the Mudblood with me. He's a guest, so we're just doing a crossover, pretty much the same as what we've done with Colin Gaddis, and that's basically it. So we'll just get into it.
Because William went to a Celtic match and hasn't been seen since.
I think he's in a drawn out clinic.
I saw a picture of him in Celtic with a red t-shirt on and a Celtic scarf, just looking like someone that was being bullied all day.
Do you know what? He actually enjoyed it, but he didn't want to show that he enjoyed it.
Did he enjoy it?
Well, he wants to stay in East Belfast. He doesn't want to be put out fully. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So you went over to do Mudblood live in Glasgow?
In Glasgow in the Armmoor. Absolutely amazing. Brilliant gig. And you know yourself with touring, it wrecks you. Because I think you were in late too, weren't you?
I've actually been to the doctors this morning because I've got I think a very bad throat infection. I think I've ulcers at the back of my mouth and stuff. And
see what normally
really
used to happen.
bad.
You see when I travelled to do gigs, on the way home the plane I always got tonsillitis.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was vulnerable just from gigging and then going on the plane.
I think do you know what it is? I think it's the air in hotel rooms isn't
And the
great,
plane, yeah.
and the air in the planes. And if you're constantly doing it,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes I would be getting two flights a week.
Yeah.
And like it would just be an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
And also, you're not eating great.
No.
You know, you're always on the move as well. So it does eventually like catch up with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
It definitely caught up with Willie. He was like struggling, and I was
he sent me. Do you want to hear the voice message he sent me?
was like this.
Yeah, he sent me a voice message because William was actually going to be on my podcast, right? On Cork, he was going to be my guest this week, and I booked him obviously, and then he sent me a message cancelling, and obviously, you know, you don't want to cancel, like, you know what I mean. But this is the voice message that he sent me.
I know it's saying I do your podcast, but my throat is completely fucked.
The classic fake cough straight away. I know. I know. I said I do your podcast. Right, here we go. Let's do the rest of it, lah.
Fucked here. I initially thought I was just hungover today, but I have fucked my throat somehow. I've got a fever, so I will not be able to do it tomorrow, man. Apologies. If you say to Paddy, we may be able to do a crossover of your podcast and our podcast, if that would work.
There you go.
Maybe it was just too much Catholic and Fenian and Celtic, and
Maybe
the Protestant in him just was fucking it's oozing out of him. Maybe he's just sitting binge watching old 12th of July parades and stuff.
Maybe he just needs to hang around the pallet for the day or something. He just needs something orange to be around him. Like,
all his mates will find a pacey mattress for you to pull through the estate here just to make you feel better.
I've never been to Celtic match.
Have you not?
No,
You're
I've
missing
done a
out.
gig in Parkhead for Celtic supporters.
You're missing out.
But I've heard, obviously, and I've heard and I've seen phenomenal things. But who are you playing at the weekend?
Ross County.
I know Celtic have a good chance to win the league this year, don't they?
Yeah, they're
Right.
3 points ahead.
Of Rangers.
Yeah, and then that's getting into a split now. So then what happens is the last 5 teams, 6 teams split 6 and 6, and then them 6 teams play each other.
So you got to play Rangers again.
Yeah, but we have to play Rangers here on the 6th, I think, and then we've
Yeah.
got them in the semi-final, so it's a double header.
Okay.
You know.
Well, good luck with that. I hope it really works out for you, Paddy. Yay! Go your team. No, I'm a football fan, but I have no interest in Scottish football at all.
Well, William actually says he was surprised. What he said to me was, I thought like Scottish football was the same as like Irish League,
All right.
and he was like, it's totally not. And
So
I
is he
was
not
like,
is he not a Rangers fan?
He's Chelsea.
Oh, classic.
Chelsea, classic Protestant team. Yeah, so he's into Chelsea and Glentoran.
Right.
So unfortunately, he didn't have much to go on, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty strange. Tell me, I was in London at the weekend, right? And I was doing a comedy store at the weekend. And an comedian came into the green room and went, "Kevin Hart on in Belfast."
Yeah.
What the fuck has gone on? What's gone on, Paddy?
It's mad. Do you know what? It'll be then for the next couple of weeks. If nobody big comes in to do it, we're going to be really like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Colin had put on a 3-day gig. So normally Lavery's happens on a Wednesday and a Thursday.
Yeah.
You've played Lavery's, haven't
Did
you?
it last week. Doing it this week as well.
So you know the crack with the gig.
Yeah.
It's a smashing gig.
Brilliant gig.
Small room, but it's fucking unreal. It's one of them gigs that you really love doing, and it's a great place to try new material. But Colin came to me and he was like, "Here, you haven't done it in a way. Do you want to come down and do 3 nights and be me, you, Mickey, Shane, whatever? We'll go on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday." And I was like, "Yeah, we'll do that." And then on Wednesday night, I sent him a message and I says, "Mate, I'm just trying to find out what times I need to be there. We're having the kids and all, do you know what I mean?" It was sort of like, what time do I need to be down by? Because sometimes Andrew can be working and I'm picking kids up and dropping her off and stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, well, you're headlining Wednesday and Thursday, so, you know, you don't need to be here until this time. But Friday night's different. Just need you to come down." And I was like, "Right, am I opening or what?" And he was like, "I don't know what you're doing or what you're not doing, but you need to come down." And I went, "What do you mean, am I not on?" And he went, "You mightn't be." And I was like, "Right, well, if I'm not on, you know, why would I come down?" And he went, "Because you won't want to miss it." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Somebody's coming in, but I can't tell you who it is." And I was sitting looking and I was Googling to see who was coming about and whatever. And then on Thursday, a friend of mine who works at the movie game sent me a message to say who was here filming.
Oh.
And to see if I wanted work down in the movie game. And I was like, "Right." And he says, "Your man's here." And hear me, "Who's your man?" He says, "Do you know your E-man, wee black comedian?" Like, and I was like, "Aye, which one?" And here was, "No, is it Chris Hart?" And I went, "No, there's Chris Rock and there's Kevin Hart." And he says, "Oh, it's Kevin, you call him Kevin Hart, he's here." And then I went, "No way, like, no way, that's who's coming in." Like,
Yeah.
And then on the Thursday night was really, you could see people, everything getting changed about, and like people couldn't scoping the place out. And then it was like, tomorrow you can't have your phones on and all. And I went, maybe it fucking is, because this isn't just, you know, didn't sound like it was just like, even John Bishop or something like that wouldn't be like that.
Or
You know what I mean?
like a John Bishop or any comic from the UK would be like whatever.
Kevin Bridges, they would sit in the green room with you and stuff, you know. So they were sort of like tomorrow. I seen them putting posters up, local comedians green area, which was out in the crowd, and I went, right, there's.
I hate that, local comedians.
Yeah.
That would annoy me.
Oh, because you're not local.
No, but just like. No, but it's just like saying, "Oh, you're a local comedian," as if like you're only good for this area.
Yeah.
Like just put in like a comedian's green room.
Yeah.
Just comedian's green room.
But then you would have all came up and
Huh?
all. You would have came up and all of that. Only joking. You're one of the local acts now.
I know, yeah.
You're in.
I'm in the door, mate. I've always wanted to be popular on the east and west side of Belfast.
We just have to work on your accent, you know what I mean? You can't be running about in a local comedian scene
Oh,
without their accent.
fucking tell you. So did you go down on the Friday then?
So, yeah, we all did. I mean, like.
So you go down on a Friday.
It was one of them ones, all the other comedians got a phone call to say, "I can't tell you too much, but you don't want to miss Lavery's on Friday night even though you're not on." So most of the comedians but I think near enough of them all turned up on Friday night, and everybody sort of met, and we had to be in the building by 7 o'clock. And we went in and we were like, "It's Kevin Hart in it?" And they were like, yeah. And so says, "What's happening?" And it was like, Gaddis is going on for 5 minutes, then Shane's going on for 5 minutes, and then they're bringing him on. And they done that, and the next minute he came in, he done a full hour. And it blew everybody away. When he left, it was sort of like everybody was just sort of looking at each other going, "Did that happen?
Yeah.
Did that fucking happen there?" Like, you know what I mean? But he done really well, and he loved the room. And sort of the next day, I had so much going on, whereas I was flying out, you know yourself, so I had to go home and get my clothes sorted that night. And also I was sitting going, I couldn't even sleep, do you know what I mean? Because it was just so much comprehension. But I was getting messages from people going, "I came a whole way from fucking Lurgan to see you, and I didn't get to see you." And I'm like, "You seen Kevin Hart for an hour?" And they were like, "I want my money back." And I'm like, fuck off.
That's what I love about Northern Irish people.
"I want my money back." And then this girl put up and like, "Kevin Hart just went on and I only came to see Paddy." You know, I'm raging, and I'm like, I've 13 dates on a tour happening. I've just announced, and I'm doing the Waterfront, which is only 60 tickets left, but we're getting there. And You just plenty of time, you know what, do the Empire. It doesn't matter. I came to see you in Lavery's. Like, you don't do Lavery's all the time. And I was like, oh, for fuck's
I love
sake.
the fact that Northern Irish people have gone, yeah, Kevin Hart, you know, one of the biggest, most successful comedians and actors in the whole of the world. But where's Paddy?
Yeah.
I want my money back. I just love that about
He
Northern Irish
didn't
people.
do any fucking Catholic or Protestant jokes.
Imagine Kevin Hart doing
He didn't mention any fucking, like, there was no talking about somebody from Turf Lodge, like, you know what I mean? I needed to have a wee bit of a fixer from Paddy.
I need to have I needed to have me sectarianism fix on a Friday night.
I didn't get it. He
Fuck's
didn't
sake.
offend one side of the community. I don't like it. But his material and all was great. Like,
What was he talking about?
He started off with about people getting cosmetic surgery.
Right.
And how years ago you kept it quiet. Whereas now it's like you tell everyone and it's quite obvious what you've got done, you know. So he was like, back in the day it was, you know, boobies and noses, and then he done this whole thing about LeBron James was his mate back in the day, and he was starting to lose his hair, and he turned up with the toupee, and he was like, no, they didn't make toupees for black people and all. So it was all this, and then he talked about if he got it done it would be his height. But he says the problem with that is he would get these long legs and then he would not do nothing with his arms, so he wouldn't be able to reach his pockets and all. Like, it was bizarre stuff, but really, really worked. It was very good. And then he talked about his dad being on gas, and that was really funny. And then about his dad giving out nicknames to his nephews and stuff. Like, I don't want to really give his tour away, but I mean, or show, but everything hit. Like
Everything.
There was nothing.
Did he do anything about being in Ireland?
At the end, he just basically says, listen, the reason why I'm doing this is because I've been here for a month now making a movie, and I love the place and I love the look of it and stuff like that, but I'm getting really rusty and I have this world tour coming out. Obviously with COVID you weren't doing that much and stuff. He says, I've done like gigs in my back garden to 100 people. He says, so I want to be on my game for things, so going into these wee comedy clubs, he says, you sort of can't drop into a stadium and do a quick gig, you know. So he says, I want to do this just to see what the people of Belfast think of me, because I'm making a movie here and I've got to like it, but also just to keep me from being rusty. And then he says, thanks very much, and he left the stage.
That was it.
But he didn't do material about Belfast and
Nothing.
anything. He basically done the hour he's going to do in his world tour.
Right. So you basically saw a £150 show for free.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Anytime someone's like, oh, anyone buying or selling tickets for Kevin Hart, you go, I've seen it, mate. Seen it before it was even released.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know one of those things?
Do you know what? See, seeing him in a small room like that, I don't even think I would have got the full. He's not a comedian I would watch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're the same as me, but
Oh, I think like he's not my favourite comic.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that
How
he's
good he is,
how
yeah.
fucking good he is.
that show blew me away.
Yeah,
I have to say. Like,
but that's the thing when you see a comic in a small room. You see, people don't seem to understand, like, the art form of stand-up comedy. I think I saw Bill Burr in front of 300 or 400, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then I saw another comedian in front of 3,000, and I just felt it's not the comedian wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was the venue that
It's
was
the
the problem.
atmosphere, yeah.
It's the comedians.
when they get that size, then they have to do that bigger. Like when I done the Ulster Hall, I didn't enjoy it.
Did you not?
Not as much as like small. I came off and I was like, did people enjoy it? I couldn't feel the feedback. Do you know what I mean?
You weren't in it.
I didn't. Yeah, like there wasn't as much coming back. You know, when you do a small room and the
Yeah.
people's and you just feel the energy, and it's, you know, I do that. Like, you done my show in the Limelight. You've seen how mad that is.
Oh,
when I do
mad.
that,
Jesus.
when I do that, like them 400 people, like
Yeah.
they're near enough in the middle of them scrapping.
Oh, and you feel like they're demanding.
Yeah, and I mean, you were done and you got the feel, and it was great, and I really enjoyed your set. So you came off as well, and you were like, that was fucking. There's something about doing that kind of room, the 400 people in the atmosphere, than going into a stadium and playing. Do you know
I've
what I
seen
mean?
stuff in big stadium rooms, and I understand why they do it, and I get it. We all want that level of success, don't we? But in terms of the actual, if you're a big comedy fan and you want to go and see a comedian do their craft and be part of something that
You want
particular
into
night,
them
they need to be in a
wee
small
dark
room.
rooms. Yeah, that's it.
No more than 200 people.
That's why and that's what I mean. I remember doing Frankie Boyle. There was 9,000 people in. I could hear people ordering drink at the back of the tent on stage. You know what I mean? It was weird. It was a big tent from Glastonbury, and there was meant to be 7,000, and 2,000 snuck into the gig.
Yeah.
And they were standing in front of people, and the crowd was restless, and that was just a disaster. Do you know what I mean?
It's not comedy. It's more of, it's just a...
It was a concert.
It's a concert, yeah.
And great as it was to say I was doing it, like, you know, I done it with Jason Manford. It was slightly different because there was 5,000 people in that tent. They were all sitting and there was no hassle, whereas the Frankie Boyle thing, they were piling in still as the gig was going on and all. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
But no, definitely a smaller venues for me. Like I played Moore in Glasgow on Saturday night, and that's a room like the Limelight, and it's just brilliant, like, for comedy. It was just, you know, I love that.
And when you do the podcast live, are you doing stand-up at the start?
Yeah.
So you go, what are you? You going out doing 20, is it?
Yeah, I normally do 20,
Then you bring
25,
William on.
And then bring William on, or vice versa, he'll bring me on. You know,
And then there's a break.
And then there's a break, and then we go out and do the podcast.
And you just sit there and chat you do Q&As and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we send it out, and then there's people in the audience, and then we do a wee bit of interaction. But Glasgow on Saturday night was different level. Like, it was just, that was the best. Now, don't get me wrong, Limelight was great and was smashing, but the Glasgow one was just... See, because you went out of the country, it's the first time we've went to another country to do it.
Really?
And it was just... The people were just coming up after and going, listen, that's even better than... We love the podcast. I listen to it in work and I do this, and used to live in Belfast, or I'm from Belfast, or from back over home and I live here now, and this is my wife and she watches it. And our podcast tends to get people, like couples, sitting on a Friday night with a couple of drinks in the house watching it.
Just before an argument.
Just to maybe set the argument off.
Set the argument
Do you know
off.
what I mean?
I think that was funny what Paddy said. I think that was funny.
Yeah.
Did you share a hotel room with William?
Of course.
You didn't give each other one room each, no? You shared a room.
Well, he's fine with that kind of stuff. Like, there's other comedians wouldn't share, but I mean, that's what I've always thought. If we go away, you always share a room with somebody. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of crack. Sometimes you can be sitting in a room and you're like, you know what I mean? It's like when somebody it's a bit of crack. I put a wee video up just on the Sunday morning, just in the background. Oh my God, I woke up on a Sunday morning and it just showed a wee bit of him, and it says, I woke up next to a Protestant. It's probably the first time that's happened, you know?
I think the best sales tag of your podcast is it's literally a Catholic and a Protestant.
Like, there's a guy was slabbering at me today, like, keep your sectarianism out of it. And I was like, you're really not getting the whole gist. Like, we are a Catholic and Protestant who are hanging out and work together, and it works.
Yeah.
And the people listen from both sides, so you're fucking getting it. Like, I brought him to the Celtic match because, and he was like, but we've had Protestants played for Celtic and managed it. And I says, it's not about that. I'm not saying that Celtic don't include other religions.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the majority of Protestants from Northern Ireland, like, there's like a family who are like family to us in Glasgow. We've been friendly, we go to them, and the daughter's married to a Protestant fellow who's a Celtic supporter. So I'm not implying that there's no Protestants allowed at Celtic, but a Protestant from here never had that level of going to a Celtic match or going to see that I know of. Do you know what I mean? So that was where the thing was coming from. I was just basically showing him, and we were in Celtic Park and people were asking for photographs, so it was amazing. Like, he was going, we're in Scotland and people's asking for photographs, and I'm going, no, it's nuts. The people are going, there's your man. Like, it was great. It was a great day.
Exciting.
Was.
Yeah, I this weekend I was in London. I did 7 shows in London.
You in the Comedy Store?
Comedy Store at the backyard, and I did a private show to a company for their St. Patrick's Day.
Brilliant.
Which was borderline too Irish.
Ah!
Like, it was the event was too Irish. They were amazing people, by the way.
But that's great for you, to be honest, because...
But I turned up, and the Irish people in, it was like... This is the most Irish...
I've done Santander in London before, and there was one Irish person in the audience.
Yeah, there was 2 at mine, I think.
And he booked me. And it was like 12 o'clock in the day.
Yeah.
In their office.
Wow.
1,800 people all crammed in this office. And I sort of went to myself, oof. But it went smashing. Like, you know, they were, he jokes about all that stuff and all, and tells us all about it. So he was like a bit of a joker in the office, but then got a comedian in to sort of back him up.
Yeah.
I think he'd been doing bits of my material.
Oh, really?
That he had seen.
Oh, God.
In the office. So then he was, you know, and they were going, that's funny. And then then I done it, and they were all looking at him and all, but it went great.
Oh, yeah. I was good now. It was good. They're a bit wild, but I'll be honest with you, I'm dying on my arse because...
Did you drink or anything?
No, I didn't drink all week. I've been sick, man.
It's definitely the travelling and the lack of eating.
Oh, I'm on. I basically what I did this morning. The reason why I started this late was because I got through to the doctor, and I'm more nervous about speaking to the doctor's receptionist than actually getting the bloody prescription.
They're like Nazis.
Fucking hell!
They're like Nazis.
Like, talk about.
Are you really sick? What do you think's wrong?
Yeah.
I can give you an appointment here
Like,
in
Jesus
2023.
Yeah.
No, I'm sick now. I know, but there's no doctors available until next year.
It's like I said to them once. I said, I'm having trouble sleeping. Have you tried lying in the bed and closing your eyes?
We can come round.
I've slept before, woman.
We can come round my hammer and hit you.
Do you ever notice anything about doctor's receptionists? You never, ever see or hear of a male one.
Yeah.
They're always female. Where's the gender balance there?
Can I let you in the wee secret?
Why is there no men doctor receptionists?
Do you know where your doctor's is?
Yeah.
Have you been to it?
Yeah.
You know what she looks like?
Yeah.
Right. So, would it look like you're hitting on her if you brought her something in? Is she that age, like?
Oh, Paddy, no. Oh, no, she's 55 plus.
Right,
like.
so that's fine then. So what you do is...
There's a couple of them, like.
Yeah, well, this is what you do, right? Try and see what they like. Look in and see. Say they're...
They like hand gel.
Right, you know that, but they probably have loads of that. Right, this is what you do, right? You see what they have at their desk, if it's a bit of fruit or if it's chocolates, or just try and scope this out, right? And once you know what they like, bring it in and say, girls, listen, I know you just go through a hard time, especially with COVID and all them coming in. Want to leave you that wee thing just as a thank you for that wee appointment. Also, I wasn't feeling great. I guarantee you next time you ring up, if there's an appointment, you'll be fucking brought in straight away.
Really?
It's a fucking secret, mate. I used to do it. See, with work, I used to do it with work. So see, builders' yards, I used to get like sausage babs or sausage and bacon babs and bring them in and give them to the guys in the counter, the security man at the gate, the guys in the yard, right? Done it for about maybe 6 weeks. You can buy them for £1 each. It was cost me 15 quid, right? Done it for about 6 weeks. So my mate was going, you're spending about £200 here. Anytime we went in, I get served straight away. Or didn't even have to get served at the till. Could go out and get my stuff and go in. I could do it against the rules and regulations of the place. I had the run of the place because I was bringing in bacon paps.
You're like the bacon bath fucking mafia, man.
So all you had to be smart. This is what I tell people. You need to be smart with what you do. See if you're getting fucked about.
But the thing is, Paddy, you can't even get into the reception.
But right? But that's what I'm saying. The first chance you get, well, then send the fucking bunch of flowers.
No, I rang them this morning, and they said, "What?" I was, "Hiya, listen." I knew exactly what they were going to say to me, and I went, "Hiya, look, I'm just looking for an antibiotic." Like, I literally just went straight to the thing. I've had this loads of time before. I've throat infection. Can I get an appointment to get an antibiotic? And your mum was just like, okay, name. She just went, name.
They know exactly.
Date of birth, right? Okay, where your pharmacy? Do you want me to send the prescription to the pharmacy? I said, are you giving me the prescription? No. The GP has to ring you back first. I said, well, why the fuck are you asking me about where? I was just like, right, yeah. I said, just ring me back. So I'm waiting for a call back now. I need to get an antibiotic, but I was in London, right? And do you ever know that I got on the plane here in Belfast City? Do you ever get on a plane about knowing you're sick? Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't have COVID, right? Don't worry about that. It's something I've had a couple of times before, when you're like run down. And I'm sitting on the plane.
It's
and
a
I'm
great
actually
way to
sweating
get
on the
yourself
plane.
your own seat. Like.
And I just sit, but I was just sitting there going, I have 4 days of this. And I know this is going to last for a week and a half. And I was staying in my friend's apartment. And, oh man, how I survived the weekend.
But you have to do it. It's your work.
I know, but every single situation, like people saying to me, did you gargle with salt and water? Everything's gargling with salt and water. Try all those things. Normal, ibuprofen, the whole lot.
Water with lemon and honey?
Yeah.
Did you have a hot whiskey?
Yeah, but also, do you get mouth ulcers?
Yes.
I get mouth ulcers, and I got a load of mouth ulcers as well because of this.
It's run down.
Yeah, it's run down. Well, I've figured, if anyone knows the best solution to get rid of mouth ulcers, can you please contact these podcasts, please? Because I've been told it's because of the type of toothpaste you're using. You need to use a toothpaste that doesn't have sodium lauryl sulfate in it, which is basically Pronomal. You're run down. You're not getting vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E. You're fucking not texting people back quick enough or something. That's why you're getting mouth ulcers.
Nobody actually tells you it's licking dogs' arseholes that gives you them. If somebody had told me that a long time ago, I'd have stopped getting them.
Licking dogs' arseholes.
That's what you're getting it for. Oh, fuck, I tried all the vitamins and all
I went through years of getting ulcers, and then I never had them for years again, and now they've come back in the last 6 months. So I don't know. My life is the same.
Your blood changes every 7 years, you know what?
Your blood changes every 7 years.
Do you know what?
What the fuck?
Your blood does change every 7 years.
How's it coming in and coming out?
That's how people then... Do you know when people go, all of a sudden I'm allergic to tomatoes?
Paddy, go back.
Your blood changes.
Paddy, stop, go back.
Your
How
blood
the fuck
changes
does it change?
It just does. I'm not even going to go into it because it's an
It's in me already.
No, but your blood changes. Listen to me. Google it and you'll know what I mean. Whenever my finger got bit off, all of a sudden I was allergic to all this thing.
Whoa. We've gone from your blood changes to whenever my fingers bit off, and you're just skirting over that.
Yeah.
I know you told a story lots of times. Go on anyway.
So
it's a sentence
basically,
I never
like if you have a traumatic amputation or something that can happen in your life, it's like when people go, stress came upon you, and the next minute you're sick.
Yeah.
You know, your body fucking changes and things change. So your blood changes and goes, I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I need this, and I need that. And your body's fucking the most complicated and probably the best fucking machine you'll ever have in your life. You couldn't buy a body. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The way it is. But they're fucking complicated things.
You can pay to get rid of one.
Well, for the right amount of money.
Yeah.
But genuinely, your blood changes, and I didn't know about this until my finger got bit off, and then all of a sudden I was allergic to all this stuff, and I went to see a girl who was a specialist about it, and she says, you're allergic to tomatoes, you're allergic to mushrooms, you're allergic to milk, you're allergic to... Because I started drinking beer, my face was fucking swelling up and itching. Never happened before. And she went, you had a traumatic experience. Your blood does naturally change. Sometimes it doesn't change anything. Sometimes it changes fucking everything. So that's why people... It's your lifestyle and... everything that goes with it.
I've been too busy recently, I think.
Yeah.
I need to slow down again a bit.
There's sometimes you just need to take a wee calm down and then see. But it can't be what you're eating, it can be what you're drinking. It's, you know, and it's not even just bad things. Like milk is really bad for me. So I had to stop having it. Whereas before, I used to take real milky tea, real milky coffee, and then now I can't have milk. Do you know
but you
what I
feel
mean?
better now?
Not
you
all
feel
the time. Wee bit.
Yeah, but you're not a big drinker.
No.
Well,
people have photographs of the past 2 weekends. You can fucking debate that there. Do you know what I mean? Because we went out for the McConnell fight last week, and it was meant to be like, we're going out for 2 drinks.
Yeah. I met your wife.
Oh?
Yeah. She's very nice.
Oh, at the gig?
Yeah. And do you know what I said to her? I said to your wife, this is how you know, like, a couple's married. You know, like, when they've been married, sorry, I can't laugh. It's just the way she said it was so funny. You know, when you do a gig to, like, 400 people or something like that, and, like, your wife is there or your partner or whatever, and it's a big night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's a big night. You know, your friends are there. You've sold a lot of tickets. People have got babysitters to come and see you. They've probably had a meal before they've come. People have spent money to be out at your event, and and you're also the impact you have on that local economy as well.
Yeah.
The pints, the restaurants, the taxis, the babysitters, just by putting on that show.
Yeah,
it's creative.
Fucking the whole lot. It's
a brilliant thing.
I never thought about that before. Taxis, like, I should be getting them for free.
Yeah,
and,
like
and restaurants should be awesome.
Next door is getting a meal. I did after the gig.
Hotels.
People are there at hotels. I was at your gig. There was people that come down. They were staying in the Premier Inn just to see you. Like, that Premier Inn is making money off you.
Oh no, I went and stayed with them.
Yeah. But I met
that's an extra service, but
I met Paddy's wife. I'd never met her before. And I said, oh, you're Paddy's wife. And she went, yeah. And I just went, well, did you enjoy the show? And she went, I didn't watch it. I just came in for a lift home. I was just like...
It's just...
But she was just looking at me. She was like, I don't give a shit. I just want to lift home.
She put me into comedy. So see, at the start, like, she would have forced everyone to go and see me. You know what I mean? Like, at the very start.
Oh, no, but the women change, man.
Do you know? So she's like... Fuck that. No, but she knows it's my job now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I noticed that, like, what happens is that even with comedians who happen to be female or male or whatever, when they're starting something off, their partner is very supportive. They're always like, you know what, you do it, I'm your partner, I'm supporting you, blah, blah, blah. And then it becomes a really serious thing and you're away 4 nights a week. Then it's like,
it's called the
how
curse
much are you
of comedy.
bringing home this weekend?
It's the curse of comedy.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's ruined so many relationships.
It has, yeah. I know loads of people, like, just married as everything.
Oh, I couldn't. I've
been lucky enough.
Impossible.
I've been lucky enough that, do you know what? She went through all the shit of it. She may as well take the good of it. That's what I've said to her. Like, she's been there when I was using the last of our money to get into the car to drive to Navan.
For 100 quid.
To support Foil Hogs and Arm, which she
Foil
was
arms
going,
and hog, foil hogs and arm.
Well, the reason why I said that, she's like, I don't give a fuck if you're supporting arms and hogs and fucking whatever. Do you know what I mean? She didn't even know who they were, and I was like, they're fucking amazing, and they were just about to like take off, and she was like, I don't care, and I was like, no, this is a good gig for me to do, and I went down, and fucking I think Alan Gearan gave me €35 for driving down. Do you know what I mean? But it was a great gig, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but
They're the yards you have to go through, man. The hard yards.
yeah. And people don't see that, you know. There's a guy in Derry, and I had McGig, and there was 180 tickets sold out the show, and I turned up, and the guy was like, you just sort of fucking came from nowhere, like, there's guys out there, Mickey Bartlett's doing it fucking 10 years, like, and I was like, I'm doing it 11, mate.
Yeah.
Mickey's doing it 15. I says, so it isn't an overnight thing.
Oh, it's not, no.
It never is. It's a process. Do you know, you're learning a trade. It's like an apprenticeship. I remember John Bishop telling me, like, 6-7 years ago, he says you could be doing this 14, 15 years before you get anywhere. He says, but 10 seems to be where you know, well, you should be still doing it or not. You know?
Yeah.
But he says it's just, you just don't know. If you're not fucking doing serious material in 10 years' time, like he says, you definitely shouldn't be doing it. But he says it could take 10, it could take 11, it could take 12, 15 years. And he was like 13 years, and he was about to give up, and
I'm 13, 14 years myself.
yeah, and he was about to give up, and he went,
I'm about to give up.
no, you're not. I know you're not. And he says he done, I think it was 13 people at the Leicester Comedy Festival, and he was like, send them home, I'm not even going out. And I don't know what happened, who said it to him, but he went out and done it, and the guy from Live at the Apollo was sitting in the front row, and he was on a couple of weeks later, and then that was it. Like, he hasn't turned back from it. Like, he's fucking Doctor Who now, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't watch Doctor Who. Yeah,
I think he's Doctor Who. I don't watch it either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, he nearly gave up, and it would have been 13 years of fucking, like, his marriage's gone and all that there, and they get back together. But do you know, it's a sacrifice. It is. It's a tough trade. It's all weekend and late nights and driving. There's times I've been driving back from Dublin doing gigs that it didn't get paid for, and I was falling asleep in the car.
Yeah. Oh, did I ever tell you the story about? Did you ever hear the story about me going to Brighton when I was starting out? No?
Uh-huh.
I was living in Manchester at the time, and I was starting out. And
did you go to Manchester? Were you already doing comedy in Ireland?
No, I started in England.
So you're English, yeah? And I shouldn't.
Shut the fuck up, Paddy.
Sean, we shouldn't even be doing this.
Fuck,
I didn't
know your
it.
blood changes and your English. What the fuck is this? You're on my podcast this week, and I'm on your podcast.
Yes.
This is the most anti-Irish podcast.
I can only throw you off one side of the book.
Oh my God. But listen to this, right? So I was starting out, you know, open spots in comedy are basically 10-minute spots. You get no money for them.
Yeah.
So I got offered this gig on a Sunday in like Brighton. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Googled, where's Brighton? Oh shit.
Down the bottom of England.
Fucking 5.5 hours or something drive. So I was like, now this is before smartphones even, like, you know, like Facebook and all that was around, but you didn't have the smartphone that we had today, like. Anyway, say the gig is at 8 o'clock, so I decide to leave at like midday, and I'm driving, and I get to Birmingham, and I go to a services just south of Birmingham, and, you know, I'm sitting there playing on the phone and all that, and get petrol, and continue driving. Anyway, I get to Brighton for the gig, so I get to Brighton, I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock or something, 6:30, can't really remember the exact time. Anyway, I parked the car up, anyway, look at the phone, I had a message at like 2:30 saying the gig was cancelled. And the message came 5 minutes after I left the petrol station. And I never saw it because obviously I'm driving. And, you know, I didn't have it plugged into Bluetooth or anything. And so I did. So anyway, I get to Brighton, it's like 6:30, and I look at the message, and it says, hey, Andrew, yeah. And there was like a missed call and stuff like that. Like, tonight's new act material gig has been cancelled. Hope so. Hope's cool. Cheers. And I just driven like 6 hours from Manchester to Brighton. So I got out of the car and I went and I got some fish and chips, and then I got back to the car about 7:15, and I drove home. And I got home for, I don't know, maybe 2 a.m. or something like that. following day, the girlfriend says to me, like, well, how was your gig last night? And I went, it was great, yeah, it was really good. Really, really good. To this day, I never knew that there was no gig because...
She would have went through you.
I just couldn't tell them that there was no gig because, like, I think I'd spent maybe 50 quid, 60 quid in petrol. You know, like, the whole thing cost me 50, 60 quid plus a whole Sunday away from your girlfriend who works Monday to Friday 9 to 5. When Sunday, like, you know, if you're a couple, you kind of do stuff on a Sunday, like, you know.
Yeah, even if it's a wind down and sitting on
just
the sofa.
sitting on telly, whatever, and there's me, you know, driving.
It's not your girlfriend now, then?
Oh, no, she broke up with me very quickly after that.
Do you think she knew? Or
She thought I was having an affair or something.
yeah, do you think she knew that it never happened?
No,
or?
no, she wouldn't. No.
Still these days, so she could be watching this.
That was 10 years ago.
She could be watching this going,
She's not watching this, trust me.
that bastard, I knew he was a land.
But I just had to say I did the gig because I was
it wasn't worth the wait.
I just couldn't say to her, like, I'm sorry, I just had to say I did the gig.
I get asked to do support for Glen Wool
Glenn's lovely, yeah.
in Galway.
Great.
I'd never played Galway.
Right?
And I was like, I've never played Galway. And I'm doing a gig in a place that I haven't gigged in yet. And I went, I need to go to Galway and do a gig. So I literally put up, like, on all the things, anybody willing to give me. And there was a few lads had, like, an open mic one in Galway the Sunday before. And they were like, yeah, we'll give you a slap, Paddy. Yeah, come on down. No problem. So I said to one of the other comedians up here, do you want to come with me? And he was like, yeah. And then there was a guy who I knew who used to do comedy and he was trying to get back into it, but his nerves was away. He says, can I go along for the ride? And I was like, yeah, come on. And I said to Andrea, I need the car on Sunday. And she went, what for? And I went, I'm going to Galway. She says, you're not in Galway next week? I went, I am. She says, well, what's the gig tonight? And I went, oh, it's just an open mic. And she went, sorry? And I went, it's an open mic. And she went, so you're going to Galway to do her long? I says, oh no, they're letting me close the show. I've got 20 minutes. And she went, and why are you going to do that? It's 250 miles away. Yeah. And I went, because I haven't played Galway before and Glen Wool's on next week and I don't want to fuck it up. I want to know what the people's like and I want to see if they understand me instead of embarrassing myself for next week. And she went, we've 2 kids, a mortgage, and that's Sunday. Are you fucking serious? Like, and I was like, so you're going to be in Galway 2 Sundays in a row? And I was like, I'll drive down and come up again. And she went, not in my car, you're not. And I was like, what? And she says, not my car, you're not. And I went, the only other vehicle I have is my black taxi.
Oh, Jesus.
And she went, well then there you go. If you want to go to Galway, you have to do that. So we went in my black taxi to Galway, right? Which £20 got you 30 miles in a black taxi. So the trip cost like 140, 160 quid to go to round trip. We get down there. You had to get something to eat. We parked the taxi outside the gig. We went in. I was on last. I was going on stage at like 12:15 on the Sunday night.
That's too late.
And I was like, this is fucking... We came out. The taxi was gone. The taxi was gone. It was parked in the street. It wasn't there anymore. So we called the guards and they were like, yeah, we have your taxi down here. And we went down and the main dude and what's the main guy in the guard called? We'd call it like a commander.
Superintendent or something.
Well, him, right? Well, his dad, they were from Belfast, but he grew up in Galway. But his dad drove a taxi. And he was driving it about, because you can start them without the key, you see.
Right.
And he was driving it about the courtyard of the Garda station. And then wanted to have an hour and a half talk about me being a black taxi driver on the Falls Road. So we left at about maybe 2:30, 2:45. And I says, well, I'm not doing the motorway. I'm going to go across country. It was in December. And worst night of my life. I was sleeping coming into Belfast. It was like 7:45 in the morning.
What was the gig like?
Shite. There were 7 people at it. And we get back into Belfast 7:45 in the morning. And I get home, get into bed. She wouldn't talk to me because I didn't go to work. Couldn't get out of bed for 2 days. I was sick. And then the following weekend, the 2 kids get sick and I couldn't leave because she was sick as well. So the 3 of them were sick and they got it off me, whatever I brought in.
So you didn't even do the gig for Glen Wool?
I didn't get doing the gig for Glen Wool, which was the next week.
Fucking hell. That's comedy though.
Isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
People don't
This
realise
is-
stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah. So there's been comedians I know, like Sean Haggerty, gets stuck one time in the mountains somewhere. His car broke down. And I've said to him, and I've said to the other comedians, see if anything ever happens like that, ring me. Because I will come and get you, because I've been in them situations.
Yeah.
And I will come and get you, because
Yeah.
I know what it's like. Where you're in the, like, I done a gig, I was living in Fleet. Do you know Fleet? Outside of London?
Yeah, Berkshire.
Yeah, so it's sort of, if you're going towards Salisbury, Southampton, stuff like that. So I jumped on the train, done a gig in London, had been working all week, working the Saturday, 12-hour shift, had a gig that night, went and done a gig, get on the train, fell asleep, didn't get off at Fleet,
Oh.
woke up in Salisbury. Last
That's where
train.
the Russians have gone and poisoned people, isn't it?
So I get off the train, the guy's like, you can't stay in the train, that's the last train. When's the next train? Next train's not leaving till like 5:15 in the morning or something like that. And the station will open again then, but you have to go outside. I had no jacket. It was just like a small jumper and my shirt. And I was standing outside freezing. A wee homeless guy came, felt sorry for me, gave me a sleeping bag. And me and him were just sitting. And I started looking about and I went, fuck, I know it's cold and I'm out in the middle. He says, but this is actually lovely around here. And he started telling me about the place. And I was sitting there and he was giving me his blanket and he gave me, I don't know, I think he went and bought me a coffee or something like that. And then the train station opened. But I phoned one of the guys I was working with at the time over there in Fleet. And he was from Derry and I phoned him up and he was like, what are you doing phoning me at this time? And I was like, I'm stuck. Where are you? And he asked me, I'm in Salisbury. And he went, Sainsbury's? He says, Salisbury. He says, Sainsbury's? I says, Salisbury. He says, where the fuck's Salisbury? Here's me, it's on down from where we are. He says, how long to Google it? I just got a text message back. Fuck off.
Because Salisbury's is it just before Swindon?
I think so.
Yeah, it's just before Swindon, I think. That's brilliant, man.
But it was like, there was that. And then another night I had to fucking come back from a gig. I was in Fleet and there was no taxis. And we were staying in a hotel that was out on a carriageway, and the only way you can get to it's by car.
Yeah.
And I had to walk from the train station, which was like 7 mile, in October time. Fucking rain, hail, and then I had to cut through a housing estate, and I broke into somebody's garden to jump over a fence to get to our hotel from the housing estate, because there was no way to get at it apart from going up the motorway, and you can't walk up the motorway.
Yeah.
And it caused the whole thing, like, and I just went to myself, this comedy lock's fucking going to kill me, like.
It can kill you. It can ruin people's lives and fucking fuck their mental health as well.
But I'm glad I stuck with it, like.
Yeah, but I have a rule where I try not to work more than 4 nights a week.
Yeah.
4 nights a week, because I have to be at home. Because in those 4 nights, you could be away for 3 of those nights as well. But this weekend, I was staying at my mate's Thursday, Friday, but I booked the 6:30 a.m. flight from Gatwick back to Belfast City, but I wasn't coming off stage until 20 to 1 on Sunday morning, because I of my last show on Saturday night. So I was like, well, I'm not going to get a hotel at Gatwick because the flight's in 5 hours.
Yeah.
So you think to yourself, I'll pull an all-nighter, right? Never pulled an all-nighter in London before, and I thought I'd be fine. But I am dying with a throat infection, which I still have today. But fucking the trains from Blackfriars or London Bridge to Gatwick, there's bloody half of them are bloody bus replacement services because they do the works in
Maintenance
the
at
night time.
night time, yeah.
I got out to Gatwick at 2:30 in the morning, and I started to walk around the South Terminal looking for a place to sleep. This is just a couple of days ago, and I spot a little Cafe Nero up on the first floor, and I thought I'd be nice and comfy up there, you know. But it's all barricaded off.
So you have to break into it.
No, you didn't break into it, but all the seats that are there, they're just like one seat. There's nowhere to lie down. And airport security didn't open till 4 a.m. I was like, feck this. So I'm walking around and I just saw this little hotel.
In the actual
thing. I'm trying to think of the name of it now.
Do you know what happened to me in December when I was over?
What?
I had booked that hotel, but I didn't realise but it was the one in Stansted. And it's just basically, you go in and it's a fucking bed and a TV and a fucking thing. Lovely. Yeah. But it's in the actual airport. Well, I was doing London. I went straight out from the gig. And I was flying out at like 6:30, 7 o'clock, same as you from Stansted. But I walked around the outside of the airport looking for this hotel. I found every hotel but that one, and I rang them, and I was like, I had no battery in my phone, so I had to go into the taxi terminal, charge the phone for me a bit, and I rang it, and the taxi driver was sitting there. He says, "If you had told me, well, it's in the actual terminal building, it's right up at the gates." And I went up, and I was like, "Fuck, I could have been in here 2-3 hours ago."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there was a guy working on the desk, and it's right in South Terminal. I think it's called, is it called Yotel or something like that? So I just went up and I went, "Hi, man. Got any rooms for 3 hours?" He man's just looking at me. He's like, "It's fixed rate." And I went, "Right." So I goes, "If I go on booking.com, can you give me 15% discount? Because you don't have to give booking.com 15%. And he was looking at me and he went, "It's £99. I said, "Look, I have a flight at 6:30, so I have to be up at 5:30. It's now 2:45. Can you 2 hours? What would it be for 2 hours?" And he looked at me and he went, "It's £99 and checkouts at 11 a.m. And I'm looking at him going, "You mean flights at 6:30 a.m. So I'm not going to be checking out at 11 a.m. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm going to be back to normal life at 11 a.m. But I was trying to get it for 50 quid, you know. I was trying to that's only 2 hours, man.
Yeah.
Give me 50%
You
off.
had he's there for what?
He didn't give a shit.
£11 an hour. If
He didn't give a shit.
No.
So I paid the 99 quid.
Yeah.
And I know I had to lie down, man. I just wasn't feeling good. And I went in and I jumped on the bed and took a picture of the room. His class was bunk beds, actually.
Yeah.
And fell asleep like that. Boom, woke up at 5:30 and I thought, great. And I got down, and I remember in Gatwick there's a shuttle. You have to get on a shuttle to go to the North Terminal to get on all the EasyJet flights, right? I come down off the lift and I'm walking towards the shuttle. And I just see like a fucking football stadium of people arriving. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh shit, this place is rammed. And it's 5:30 in the morning. And at 2:30, 3 o'clock, it was dead. It's just how it comes alive from the first flight.
Yeah.
So I get on the shuttle and I get to Gatwick North Terminal. And the queues at 5:30, and I'm thinking, my flight's at 6:30, you know, gate closes at 6, basically, either gate kind of starts boarding at 6 kind of thing. Like, I got through security really fast, I must admit now. Gatwick is good. But anyway, I get through, and it's, say, 5:45. My gate's up 1:05, and it says boarding. I literally had to go straight to the gate, and we were all on board by 6:10.
Yeah. I think it was
actually fucking tight.
I said Stansted. I flew into Stansted. It was definitely Gatwick. I flew, and that hotel's up. There's a coffee shop right next to it.
Yeah, there's a couple of coffee shops up there. Yeah.
And it's like black inside the rooms, isn't it?
Block Hotels is
Block
called.
Hotels.
Block Hotels.
That's it.
BLOC.
Yes.
Highly recommend them.
I actually liked the room, and
really liked it.
Your door opens into your room, but it opens into the thing.
It's the same room to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Block Hotel,
but
not
there was,
hotel.
There was
sorry,
like
Block
all
Hotel.
ambient lighting and all in it. Like,
and they're lovely and compact and
was.
very clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly. But I couldn't find it. Do you know where you go in, and I think you go up a lift, and it's just
it's upstairs.
It's upstairs, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I was googling it, and I was going, "Why can I not find this hotel? Still, it's here." And I walked through the car parks and the taxi.
Yeah.
In the actual fucking airport.
But you know what? When I checked out of the hotel and I went to the North Terminal and I was looking into the North Terminal, it was like a new city just begins at 4 or 5 a.m. You know, it's like...
I know what you mean. Gatwick, just go there and there's like trains on both sides. It just
once the first train arrives and all the passengers get off, they're just it just becomes such a big... It's a city.
When I worked in London, so I used to come home every 2 weeks. So I was working in the sites and all over there. So I had to come home every other week. So what I done was, on a Friday morning, I lived in Tottenham Hale, directly facing the train station, and the Stansted Express left from there. So that was where it left for, and nobody took your ticket. So all the gates were lying open in the thing, so they were like just taking off, and nobody was going to Stansted from there. And I used to walk in, get on the train, and after like 3 weeks of paying 40 odd quid, I was going, no one's
checking it.
Nobody's checking here. I've never got my ticket checked. Even when I get to Stansted, nobody checks it. And on a Sunday night when I was coming home, it was the exact same. It was that if I got the last flight from Belfast to London, you went in the Stansted, there was nobody working. They couldn't pay anybody to work that shift. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was nobody here. Nobody checked your ticket. So I used to get the flight on the Friday morning and get the flight back on the Sunday night. And I never had to pay for real for the whole time as well.
Should have fucking rail in England's a disgrace.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the price of it's a fucking
Yeah,
disgrace.
but it was like, it saved me like 70 odd quid or something. Do you know what I mean? Every second week.
I'm fucking sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. I just get a train there from Manchester to London. They wanted £95.
And you can fly from Belfast to Manchester for
Fly from
35
Belfast to
quid
fucking
if you get it
Amsterdam.
enough.
Get a hotel, few pints, fucking 3-course meal in a restaurant. Still cheaper than a fucking.
Well, that's me and Andrew used to
London.
go out like at the weekend and at home, and we didn't really drink, but we would have had a meal with and a couple of bottles of wine, and you're spending 200 quid. And I was going, we can literally get on a plane and go somewhere here. And we started doing weekends away, like Paris. Don't get me wrong, you probably spent a couple of hundred in Davia, but you were in fucking Paris.
Yeah, but for an extra 200 quid, you're in Paris, though.
Yeah, and you're away for 2 nights. Do you know what I mean? So, but no,
It's mental,
crazy.
man. How's Mudblood podcast been coming along for you guys lately? It seems like you're flying, aren't you?
Yeah, it's really took off. People love the concept of it. I think it's the whole fact that me and Willie are from different sides of the community, and we're both comedians, and people love that aspect of it, where it doesn't, and Willie's disabled, and I torture him about it.
Is he, though?
Don't start.
Only
After,
joking, Willie,
let me
only
just say,
joking.
after sharing a room,
Did you hear the voice off him?
After, but he has that wee spoiled boy syndrome
joking.
about
He's a
him.
lovely
Like,
fella. Very funny guy, isn't
Granny,
he?
I can't quit in the weekend because I'm really. Do you know what I mean? He didn't get sick whenever all the gigs and all was happening, but
It's
when he has to
amazing when he has to work for free.
he doesn't
Get
sick,
sick, don't you,
sick
William?
all the time.
I think he is. I and you as well, but I think he's a fantastic stand-up. Saw him at the Empire.
In the
and I was
past
very,
2
very
years-
blown away by him. Like,
I remember seeing Willie when he was 17,
yeah. How old is he?
26.
So how old are you?
None of your fucking business.
That's somebody. That's somebody that does that. That's unhappy.
41.
Oh yeah, I'm 40 next week.
Are you? I thought you were older than that. And
Shut the fuck up, man.
no, but you do like down south. You look.
Whoa.
Hold on. Down south, like you look younger than your age, whereas in the north here we look older for our age.
Well, you've had a lot of stress.
Yeah. Blood changing and all that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Fingers missing.
Fingers getting bit off. But no, you look in your 30s, like. Do you know what I mean?
40 on
But I
Tuesday.
thought you could have been like 47. Do you know what I mean? People down south.
47.
But I'm saying you don't look like. I said you look like you're in their 30s, but you could be 47. Do you know? I meet people from fucking Kerry and Cork, and they're talking away to me, and I'm like, "What age are you?" And they're like, "I'm 51," and I'm going, "You look 30, mate. You know." There's a guy I know from Kinsale, and he fucking looks 30, and he's in his 50s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just had a brilliant life.
We're
Down.
just, us free staters, man.
Free
We're just
state.
getting all the shit. We're
Yeah.
getting. We just, we've
No stress
We've got
or
our own
hassle.
land,
Yeah.
Like, everything's fine.
Do you know what I mean? But
I love winding you up about that shit, man.
But yeah, so I seen him back then, and I knew he had something like back in the day, like, when he was a kid. Like.
He's great, man. I think he's very good.
But in the past 2 years, like I'll tell you, on Saturday night in Glasgow, that's the best I've ever seen him do stand up.
Great.
And I mean, he just was like bump, but a bump, but a bump. Just ticked all. Do you know if you were sitting there? See if it was a driving examiner for comedy, it was a flawless
No
performance.
fails.
No, I actually would have went here. Do you know? You take the class from now on. Do you know what I mean? he was flawless the other night, and he just hit at all the right times. And it was I was out the back. When I say out the back, because people think we have these class things that happen out the back, and there's all these
Nothing
hookers
happens.
and cocaine and all. I was literally standing thinking about pissing into a bottle behind a curtain, and he was performing, and I was standing there because I didn't want to miss his set. But I was shaking with laugh, and he says he could hear me fucking laugh.
Yeah.
It was so, like, there was a guy, he done a bit of crowd work as well, and there was a guy, he says, "All right, mate," your man shouted something. He says, "All right, mate, well, what do you do for a living?" He says, "I'm a student." He says, "What are you studying?" He says, "Engineering." And he was from over here, the guy. And he says something about the bonfires. You're doing that to learn about the bonfires. He didn't get anything. And your man, "I'm something dick." And he says, "I will engineer your fucking lips around that." And the place fucking collapsed. It was so quick, so sharp. And I collapsed out the back. I was like, fuck me. That was funny. But yeah, no, he's doing great. He's doing
That's
great.
man. Yeah, I know he's very good. But since I've been gigging a lot more now in the Northern Irish scene, like lots of people in London have been asking me about it.
Because they're talking about it.
Talking about it, yeah. And people don't realise. And like, I was gigging with a few people at the weekend in London. And they were like, "Hey man, I hear things are really good over in Northern Ireland for comedy." I'm like, "Yeah, like they are really good because there's like a lot of clubs now." And I'm like, "Yeah." And also the comedians here that are doing really well. They've got good followings, good loyal followings. And then you just chuck in the Kevin Hart for a Friday and a Saturday for a laugh.
I think what's happening too, like I've started going over the gig over there, and we're selling out shows. Like Shane and Colin's been going over and selling out shows. Mickey would have been doing the comedy clubs, so Mickey was doing it slightly different. Mickey was the first one that we sort of knew was going over and doing the comedy stores and stuff like that. I obviously went over and tried to do it, but there's the likes of Shane and Colin. Like Shane just done the Leicester Theatre.
Yeah.
And
Leicester
people's
Square
going,
Theatre,
yeah, and the Axel Ver's going, fuck me, like, and he sold that out. And then we go to Glasgow, we're selling gigs out, and so we're all sort of building. So I think they're probably going, fucking who are these guys? Like, it's not even just one of them coming over, it's like 3 or 4, and they're coming over and doing gigs. So we're just building it and building
And
it.
also, yeah, like, and even last week down in South as well, like Chris Kent did Vicar Street.
Which was great. Sent
You
them a
know,
message.
so Chris
Chris
Kent
is
did
amazing comically.
Yeah, he's got my favourite joke, one of my favourite jokes of all time. Now, he did it it's about 2 or 3 years ago, so he doesn't do it now. I'm sure he won't mind me telling. I have to tell. Have you ever heard his favourite joke about his dad drinking? Hear that one?
Do you know what? Chris has that many ones that he does.
Yeah.
Like, there's one he used to do about a sheep.
I'll tell you the one about the dad. You tell me about the sheep, right?
I can't remember the full story of
his
it.
dad goes out drinking one night and he comes in and he's so drunk that what he does is he walks through the pane of glass at the porch in the house. So his mother has to call an ambulance because obviously he's walked through glass because he's so drunk. So the ambulance arrive and his mother says to the ambulance, "Listen, will you have a word with my husband? He's been drinking a lot recently, like, and he's after walking through the pane of glass." And his excuse was, he says that they hadn't had the porch that long, right? So the ambulance guy sits down with him and says, "Listen," he says, "Mr. Kent, it was the jeans that saved you because the glass didn't go in the jeans. So I'm telling you now," he says, "if it wasn't for the jeans that you were wearing, you might not be alive today." And his dad looked at the ambulance guy and says, "I suppose I better buy a denim jacket." So
That no, I'm going to stop drinking. It's like, well, that's prepared then.
I just think it's one of the funniest jokes.
But you know what?
Ever,
it's not even that he came up with it. It's a real life scenario.
Yeah.
And it tells you a lot about Irish people.
Yeah.
It really fucking does.
Talks exactly. Yeah.
I love the way Irish, like in Donegal, the people we used to stay with in Donegal, the guy crashed the car. It was a big Sierra. I never forget this. He crashed the car, and the wife was giving him shit about it, and she says, "You better fix it." Like Donegal people don't argue like that. They're, "You better fix it,"
Yeah.
And we came back from college that day, and he'd fucking just got paint and done like a few marks around it, like a Batman sort of style, and it just went, ouch. And I was like, fuck me. I collapsed, and everybody was like, "It's not that funny." And I went, "No, that is fucking funny. That's like ordinary people fucking with humour."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just, and the wife's like, "What?" And he's like, "It's sorted. Make a joke out of it. Don't need to fix it."
Exactly, man.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what I love about Ireland. But Chris Dunn, I can't remember the whole thing about the sheep, but that was a long story one, but it's one that he used to do. It looked like a Chinese man from behind.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck me. It's one of them visual jokes where when he turned around and you went, fuck, he does.
He goes, "I look Chinese from behind."
It's fucking hilarious.
It's just the funniest thing ever. And I think that's in his last special, actually, which is online.
Man. He done that Noma one night. I was gigging with him and I fucking collapsed in the back of the room.
But how do you know you look Chinese
He's from
behind?
the back, yeah. So something must have happened. Do you get what I'm saying? For that to happen, something has to happen for you to get that. Do you know, because you don't look at yourself from behind. Oh, fuck. Very good. Very good. And did it go well for him? Because I never spoke to him.
I was actually doing Dublin that night, and I did my gig, which was difficult to say the least, because they were a bit drunk. But I went over to see Chris afterwards, after the show, and I asked him how was it, and he said it was great.
Brilliant.
But I was delighted for him. But the thing is now, like, that show has been rescheduled about 3 times, so he's back on it now, like, and everybody's back on it now in the south, like, things are open again, so we're fucking good to go, Paddy.
Vicar Street's like the venue to do in Dublin, isn't it?
It's like you do a Vicar Street,
And then it moves up till the bigger places.
no, well, that's the biggest place, really.
Well, what about the arena, like, or?
Oh, well, Jesus, I mean, there isn't any comedians in Ireland doing arenas in Ireland. Maybe Joanne McNally might do it, but
Can't get us and changes done arenas.
yeah, but that's up the north.
It's still Ireland.
Oh, it is Ireland. Yeah, I'm talking down south, like. Oh, fucking here
This
we
is
go. Here we fucking go again.
I done an interview today, right? And I swear to God on the radio. And
I'm a Republican man, but I keep getting these fucking words and phrases mixed up.
Here, I done it. Look, I promise you, I'll show you, right? I done an interview this morning on the radio and people were listening to it, and this is the messages I got, right? Look at that one. Let's see.
Did you just say Northern Ireland? Not a chance. Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to. I know you're not supposed to say Northern Ireland. You're supposed to say North
But if you
of
say
Ireland.
north of Ireland, Willie cracks up and goes,
It's the Northern Ireland. Exactly. I fuck off with these stupid, shitty fucking rules up here with your people say to me like, "Are you from the Free State?" I'm like,
well, who
"I'm
was
Cork."
who was the last Southern comedian that done the arena down there? Or?
I don't know. I don't think there's been a Southern Irish comic that's done an arena in Ireland. Tommy Tiernan is the only one I could think of.
Has he done an arena?
What he's done, like,
Tommy does hotels and stuff, and I remember this, right? I remember him telling me this, was that like you can get a hotel, like they'll practically give you the room because they're not being used.
yeah,
And
that's what we should do. The North and South of Ireland tour.
So why? Well, there has been a thing that was meant to happen, and COVID stopped that. Was in Newry they were going to do a big gig in Northern and South comedians. It was the Big O was going to do it, who's an old comedian, and it was the North versus the South sort of thing. That was what he was planning.
That'd be brilliant.
And he was going to put it in the canal, and I was like, yeah, but how many people are you going to get in? And he went, 1,800 or something. And I was like, okay, you've got me interested now. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's great. Like, just keep going on,
Yeah, it'd be grand, man.
the acts.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for listening to this double podcast.
Yes.
It's a double. So basically, this
Thanks
is
for coming on the Mudblood.
Thanks for coming on Cork in the North
Yeah.
for the third time, Paddy. Yeah, basically because William is at home going.
But I get more ratings than him anyway, so you'll be alright.
Yeah, I know. Listen, Cork in the North podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And if you're a fan of the Mudblood podcast, you can also check out Cork in the North. We've had loads of episodes in the past. Obviously, I'm from Cork, living in the
Well,
North.
you've been on the Mudblood now.
I know, yeah. So hopefully they'll just keep following, liking,
Sure,
sharing, and subscribing.
he's like a cousin now, you know, that's stayed over welcome.
And it's great to be up here in Northern Ireland.
North of Ireland.
Fuck yes, fuck yes.
Right, all the best. See you later.
I'm only joking. It's the North. I get it.
Have I